If you're aged between 30 and 65, there's something you need to know. Deep down inside you is a modest little organ that you have probably heard very little about. But for someone in your age group, the effect it can have on your life is extreme. It's your pancreas. It's such a critical part of your digestive system, it's almost impossible to live without it. And of all your organs, it is one of the most likely to kill you. Your pancreas is situated deep inside your chest, within your rib cage, behind your stomach. Hidden away down there, your pancreas produces all the insulin and many of the digestive juices you need to process food and stay alive. Unfortunately, like all your other organs, your pancreas can develop cancer. Even more unfortunately, because it's so well hidden, a cancer that develops in your pancreas is almost impossible to detect until it's too late. In fact, if you're unlucky enough to get pancreatic cancer, it is very, very unlikely you will survive. Exactly how unlikely? Let's look at the facts. Here are the 5-year survival rates for some cancers you probably do know about. If, for instance, you were diagnosed today with prostate cancer, there's a 92% chance you'll be alive and probably well in 5 years' time. If your diagnosis was breast cancer, there's a 90% chance that you would be enjoying life 5 years later. For melanoma, the chance you'll survive is much the same, about 90%. Kidney cancer is harder to beat, with your chance of surviving 5 years closer to 75%. But if you're unlucky enough to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, the chance you'll still be alive 5 years later is not 90%, not 80, not 70, not 60. Your chance of survival is not even anything like 50-50. No, the harsh truth is, if you're unlucky enough to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer today, your hope of still being alive in 5 years is just 8%. And this shocking statistic has barely improved in 40 years. But pancreatic cancer is pretty rare, right? You hardly ever hear about it, do you? Well, you soon will. Because this year, roughly the same number of Australians will die of pancreatic cancer as breast cancer. Last year, the difference was fewer than 200. And with each year, mercifully, the prospects for breast cancer sufferers improve, while for pancreatic cancer sufferers, the toll keeps growing. In fact, in terms of lives lost, pancreatic cancer is fast becoming the cancer of your generation. And yet, despite being a top 5 cancer, pancreatic cancer receives only a fraction of the funding received by those other cancers. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that more funding means more awareness, which means more government assistance, which means more medical research, which means more survivors. And this is why we need to speak to you. The AVNA Pancreatic Cancer Foundation was started 10 years ago by a man who was suffering and was soon to die from pancreatic cancer. In the decades since, the AVNA Pancreatic Cancer Foundation has funded a suite of medical research projects dedicated to improving the survival rate. But until the day we achieve a major breakthrough, there'll be no armies of survivors marching in the streets to raise awareness and badly needed funds. Which is why, right now, we need you to help us. As an Australian aged between 30 and 65, this is either your problem or your chance to help change the future for thousands of Australians, possibly even yourself. Give now and learn more about the science, the people and the many ways you could be involved. Visit us at avnasfoundation.org.au. We've started to make a difference, but with your help, we can stop pancreatic cancer becoming the cancer of your generation.